Prologue. In the cold depths of 1947, within a Soviet military research facility buried beneath the Siberian frost, 5 women were chosen for an experiment that would push the limits of human endurance. The purpose: to test the effects of prolonged sleep deprivation using a stimulant gas. Promised their freedom in exchange for participation, the 5 women, Svetlana, Katya, Anya, Natalia, and Irina, stepped into the chamber, unaware of the horrors that awaited them. Day 1, the game begins. The chamber was small, sterile, and suffocating. Cameras monitored their every move, but privacy was already an illusion. The gas hissed softly from unseen vents, filling their lungs with an insidious whisper of wakefulness. At first it was nothing, an odd alertness, a heightened sensitivity. They laughed, talked, shared secrets beneath flickering bulbs, and let time slip through their fingers. Katya, the most rebellious of the group, stretched, her tank top riding up her toned stomach. So, what happens first? Do we just wait for the nightmares to start? Irina, the scientist's daughter, smirked. Maybe we create our own nightmares. They whispered in the dim light, their inhibitions slipping, the lines between reality and fantasy blurring. Something about the experiment thrilled them, a strange, dark exhilaration creeping into their veins along with the gas. Day 3, fevered heat. Their bodies began to betray them. Heat rose in their skin, desire curling like smoke in the chamber's stagnant air. Lack of sleep did something strange to the mind. Every glance lingered too long. Every accidental touch set nerves alight. Svetlana pressed herself against the cold metal wall, biting her lip as she fought against something unfamiliar. Across from her, Natalia met her gaze, eyes dark, unfocused, burning. The gas was stripping away their self-control, revealing desires buried beneath their civilized masks. I feel strange, Anya murmured, her breath shallow. Like I'm burning up. Katya's fingers traced Anya's collarbone, an unspoken challenge in her touch. Maybe we should help each other cool down. Laughter turned breathless, and the sterile chamber felt smaller, hotter. The researchers on the other side of the glass watched in silence as something primal unfolded. Day 7, the unraveling. They had not slept in a week. The erotic haze had given way to something darker, obsession, paranoia, hunger that had nothing to do with food. Their eyes were sunken, shadows bruising their once soft skin. But something else had changed. They could hear each other's thoughts, feel each other's pain. The gas had linked them in ways beyond comprehension. Natalia whispered in Svetlana's ear, her voice raw. I can feel your heart beating inside me. Svetlana shuddered. I can't taste your fear. The first act of violence came when Irina clawed at her own skin, swearing she could see something moving beneath it. When Katya tried to stop her, the struggle turned bloody. The cameras captured the moment Irina kissed Katya in a fevered rage before sinking her teeth into her shoulder. Katya didn't scream. She moaned. Day 10, the point of no return. They had become creatures of instinct. The gas had fused their bodies and minds into something monstrous, something beyond human. Their whispers were indecipherable, their movements synchronized like a predatory pack. Love, lust, hunger, and madness twisted into something unholy. Anya, once the quietest, now ruled the chamber with a gaze that turned blood to ice. She ran a trembling hand down Svetlana's bare back, fingers sticky with something red and slick. They're watching us, she whispered. We should give them a show, Natalia purred, pressing against her from behind. The observers were no longer certain whether they were watching an experiment or witnessing the birth of something new. Day 15, the end. By now, the women no longer resembled their former selves. Their bodies were covered in bite marks, scratches, dried blood. They had shed their humanity like old skin. When the soldiers entered the chamber to shut down the experiment, they were met with an impossible sight. 5 women standing in the center, arms entwined, whispering in one voice. We are awake. When the lights flickered, the screaming began. And then there was silence. Day 16, the aftermath. The facility descended into chaos. The soldiers who had entered the chamber did not return. A second team was sent in, only to be greeted by darkness and the scent of copper in the air. Their radios crackled with incomprehensible whispers before cutting to static. Security footage captured flickering images. The women, their eyes glowing like embers, their smiles sharp and knowing. They moved with unnatural grace, their bodies bending and twisting as if unbound by human limitations. One by one, the facility's staff vanished, their screams echoing through the steel corridors. Those who survived reported waking up days later, lost in the woods, their minds fractured and haunted by visions of the women. Epilogue: The Sleepless Ones. The research facility was abandoned, but rumors persisted. Some say, on certain nights, if you listen closely, you can hear soft laughter drifting through the Siberian wind. Others whisper of strange disappearances, of women with glowing eyes who visit in dreams and leave lovers forever yearning. Years later, reports surfaced of missing hikers, their abandoned campsites littered with deep scratch marks. Some who returned spoke of a seductive presence in the shadows, voices that lured them into the night with promises of ecstasy and terror. The 5 women were never found, but they never truly left. They are still awake, and they are waiting,